Hey everyone, welcome to the Knowledge Boner podcast. I am your host, Dylan Starr. I got my co-host here, Wally Wynn. Wally, how are you this wonderful Monday?
It's Monday, but actually, I kind of like Mondays.
Yeah, we
I kind
don't
of like Mondays.
the Monday blues. Doesn't really happen to us.
Not really. Now, big week ahead here. A lot of crap going on. I'm gonna try to keep it semi PG, but if I happen to let it slip, oh well.
Yeah, we've been um, really hitting it hard on the lead generation and getting our business up and running off the ground, as well as you know um, doing a lot of client acquisition techniques and stuff like that. But you're definitely excited for this week. We're going to really hit um, a big topic diving into lead generation. For those that don't know what that is, basically a lead is somebody who is a potential prospect for whatever your service is. So whatever it is that you want to sell, whatever it is you want to do, before you can even sell somebody, right, you have to have prospects. You have to have somebody like coming in that you can sell it to. And so this whole week, we wanted to be able to give you guys as much knowledge as we can and really um, share what we've been learning, what we've been doing with you guys, and so that you can tune in because I this seems to be the biggest struggle. I've seen people coming into our Facebook group. If you haven't checked it out yet, you can literally go on Facebook and type in leads closing sales, and you'll find our Facebook group. If you're listening in on YouTube, there's a link below in the comments. Definitely join that group. We're going to be covering way more on this topic because a lot of people have been asking about it. Wally's going to be doing some teachings and trainings on lead gen and funnels and the whole shebang. So definitely excited to get the ball rolling on this. So definitely check out that group. And so today we're going to talk about how to leverage other people's success. And this is really cool. It's an awesome trick because what I see from a lot of people that are getting into entrepreneurship is they come into an industry they've never been in before, or maybe you're brand new and you're listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, like I have a 9 to 5 job. Like I can't start a business. I have no experience. No one gives a crap about what I do. How can I approach somebody if I have no experience, right? That's everyone's biggest thought. So before we kind of dive into later these weeks about lead gen and everything like that, I want to teach you guys technique based whatever industry that you're in or you're getting into on how to leverage other people's success. So what I mean by this is I'll give a good example. If you tuned into our interview with Tim Pitt, he's in direct selling, which is a little different than network marketing. Direct selling, you're just selling directly a product to a consumer, whereas network marketing is you're actually building a downline duplication system, getting them on monthly auto ships where they're ordering products per month and you're getting commissions off of that. Now, a trick that we all did, me, Wally, and some other people back when we were in the network marketing days, is we didn't make it about ourselves. We actually were able to leverage other people that were having success in the industry, the top income earners. I mean, gosh, I know Wally's working with people in network marketing now, the top income earners, and we still kind of use this technique for people in their downline. But basically what you're doing is you're leveraging someone else's testimonial, someone else's success with money, their success in the industry, whatever it is. And then now it's not on you, it's on them. So you're only talking about them. Well, what's great about this is you can use this in your advertising. You can market on, you can talk about it on Facebook. You can talk about to whoever you want to. And this doesn't just apply to the network marketing industry. You can do it with anything. You can even leverage testimonials. Let's say that you're trying to get into marketing online. And Wally, why don't you tell them about what we did with Facebook? Like we looked at a way to be able to get clients to help with Facebook advertising, and we use messenger bots and the sorts. But we went on. I was like, hey, you know what, Wally? Why don't we leverage success stories from Facebook itself? Why don't you tell them about that?
Yeah. So me and Dylan, we were struggling. I'm going to say struggling because, typically whenever you want to market your business or start marketing your business, you need a testimonial of some kind. That kind of jump starts the whole process. If you don't have any testimonials, or for some reason you can't get testimonials from the clients you do have, then you kind of got to start from bare nothing. Now, the difference is okay. Well, what if we can always say something that is 100% true, no matter what? It doesn't matter who got the result, but we can show that there are results. Does that make sense? So yeah, that's what we did. So we went in and Dylan showed me this thing on Facebook, which is basically if you go to Facebook Business or Business Facebook and you look at the success stories underneath there, you can actually see, the different success that people have, different businesses have had that Facebook features like on their business side. So you can see people that use like Facebook Messenger in their advertising. You can see people who just use Facebook ads, what kind of campaigns they ran, what their advertising cost was, what kind of results they got and the business names and everything. So you can easily, incorporate those kinds of case studies or those different, results from Facebook itself and leverage that in your own advertising if you don't have your own testimonials yet.
Yeah, absolutely. So super powerful. I mean, it was genius. And trust me, guys, Facebook, they want you using their platform. So they have really good testimonials, right? Because they want to draw on business owners themselves. But just think about whatever, maybe you're using a tool if you are in marketing, whatever tool or service you're using, and you want to leverage someone else's success, they have testimonials and stuff on their pages. Whether it's maybe you're managing social media and you're using a software. If you literally go to that page, they're going to have testimonials. They're going to have features of the software. And what's so cool is you don't have to think of the benefits at this point because you're like, oh, well, what do I say I do? Like it's all right there on the page from the software that you're going to be using. So if you're charging somebody that's going to pay you to be able to do this service for them, and all you're using is the software, why would you not just take it off of your shoulders and leverage the testimonials from the software's page as well as the features and benefits that is there on the software's page? So this is a really powerful tool. This is how you can really jumpstart. I'll tell you a story about when I was doing sales for another agency, a guy that's very successful. He ended up launching his own software product, but he had an agency, and he's been in the game for a long time. And I actually was able to use his website, his portfolio, because I was, wanted to close deals and stuff. I didn't want to do any of the work. I just wanted to do sales. You guys know that you're tuning in. Like I love doing just the sales aspect of things. So I was like, look, if I sell these websites and if I sell marketing, I don't want to have to do any of this. Would you take the business? He was like, absolutely. And I said, great. Can I leverage everything that you have, your portfolio, your accomplishments, everything you've done? And he said, you have me 100% at your disposal. So we ended up, building this this awesome organization that people were paying us to help them get clients, where he was doing the work and we were teaching them how to do client acquisition. It was amazing. Made really decent money in a short amount of time. And I went on the closing frenzy for tons of people, and everyone's like, man, how did you do it? And I was like, well, I didn't make it about me. I leveraged somebody else's success. I was able to talk about his accomplishments. I was able to talk about his clientele. I was able to talk about his results that he's built for other people clientele, not anything that I did. And because of that, I never ran into any problems, never any friction. In fact, when you're doing it correctly and you're asking the right questions, I actually never even got asked the question. I know a lot of people were like, maybe you're listening to this and you're worried about approaching a business owner. And the thing going in your mind is, well, what if they ask me what I've done for other people? If you're doing it right and you're asking the right questions and you're giving them value, they never ask you that. Now I think back to, I've never had anyone be like, well, do you have a link to a website of seeing results and blah, 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 blah. Never happened. Not once. Because, and part of that could just because in the very beginning, I was able to talk about previous clients and the success that he has gotten for them to where that question never came up. So the first thing that I always recommend people do is look at what you're doing now or what it is that you want to do. Okay. Figure out, how are you going to do? Are you using tools? Are you using softwares? What are you selling? And if you're brand new, ask yourself, who has already been successful with it? And how can I leverage their success to jumpstart my business to where you don't have to make it about you and your inexperience and your lack of testimonials or your lack of skills or anything like that. And it may take some finessing, if you're in that same case of maybe you're doing a digital marketing agency or something like that and you're brand new, sure, you can either go the route of leveraging, like we said, testimonials through Facebook. If you're doing Facebook ads, it's a very smart strategy that we came up with, and it's very efficient. Or you can reach out to somebody while you want to get your skills up and practice getting clients that has an agency and say, hey, I'm interested in getting my own agency off the ground and going, but I'm brand new and I want to practice getting clients. Can I practice getting clients, leverage your success and your agency, and then I'll give you the clients. I just want to commission off of the sale. You do that to a bunch of people, they're going to say yes. I mean, they're gonna be like, hell yeah, absolutely. You're gonna go out, you're gonna get experience, you want to be able to do this. Like, they get it. You want to start your own agency one day, but they'll be completely content with doing that. Now you're gaining experience, you're gaining an income on the side, and you're leveraging someone else's success. Can you think of any other times that you've maybe used this technique before, Wally?
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting. One of the, me and Dylan, very recently, we've been, investing a lot of money in ourselves and getting a lot of like high level mentorship and that kind of stuff. And one of the guys that, that I invested in and got mentorship from, he kind of explained this concept that Dylan's talking about here. He talked about it very briefly, but it's one of those things, like once you point it out, then it really makes sense. But then, before you're kind of like, whatever. Right. And what I mean by that is Dylan talks a lot about, just a second ago, talked a lot about the who is being established in your mind. Right. So a lot of problems, like, and this is even a problem with us, is, nobody knows the who of us yet. Right. So you haven't necessarily established that brand. You haven't really necessarily established that authority yet. But you being able to leverage someone else's authority, right? That's you leveraging their who, if that makes sense, right? So you don't have. So now you're. It's kind of like redirection in a way. It's like, oh, don't look at me. Look at his results. I just work with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's very, very effective in advertising, especially if you don't really have any results for yourself yet, or you haven't really built up a portfolio. If you can leverage and say, oh yeah, I'm working with so and so, who does have the name, then yes, that's absolutely, like, you are viewed as an equal at that point, which is great for you if they have a strong who.
Yeah, definitely. And so don't be afraid to realize that you're brand new to this, and if you're lacking experience, that's okay. That's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with being humbled enough to utilize someone else's success or leverage off of them. Ask now if you're doing it off of a person. Obviously, ask for like permission. Don't take what we're saying and go find some internet guru online and start making stuff up and be like, oh, I work with this guy and this is what he does. Have you heard of him? Like, and leveraging that. Like, no, don't do that. But I'll give you kind of the icing on the cake. So recently I've been getting leads and closing for the top coach for Grant Cardone himself. He's a top certified coach in the industry, absolutely crushing it. Like, his sales skills are absolutely amazing. You can tell just from being around Grant Cardone. And what's really cool is he is now leveraging his Be Obsessed coaching brand, which I get to leverage the same thing when I'm closing leads and stuff for them, because I'm a part of his team. And part of that is we legally are allowed to leverage Grant Cardone's name. Now, if you don't know who the hell Grant Cardone is, you need to go on Google right now and type in Grant Cardone. And then boom, it pops up all over the place. Like,
he's a good old boy from Louisiana. Yeah, good old boy.
Yeah, Louisiana, like, hilarious. Very, very extroverted, outgoing, love sales. Love Grant, awesome, amazing guy. But no, so anyone that knows him, if you're a raving Grant fan and you mention his name, they get excited. They love everything about him. They've been to his 10X Con, Growth Con events. They purchased his programs, stuff online. So when we're talking to these prospects for anything with the Be Obsessed coaching brand, I get to leverage Grant Cardone. So it eases the conversation. It's not at that point like you're warming them up. So yes, I'm taking a lead and I'm having to call them. Now imagine yourself on the phone having to reach out and you're having to call an owner or a prospect and you're trying to sell them on training or a coaching package, right? For most people, that's uncomfortable. But when you have the power to leverage someone else's success and you mention, hey, we're here with Be Obsessed Coaching, we're certified coaching from Grant Cardone. We just asked them, how long you been a fan of Grant Cardone? And like, oh man, I love Grant Cardone and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden their barrier's down. they get excited. We're like, hey, that's where the lead came from, because you either purchased something from him before, you've been to his 10x Growth Con, wherever they came from. Being able to leverage that name is super powerful, and it helps tremendously getting sales.
Again, it's talking about the who, right?
Yep.
It's like, okay, Grant Cardone said it. That's the who. But if I said the exact same thing, or if it came from you, oh man, when's the last time? How long you been a fan of Dylan Starr?
Yeah, exactly.
Who the hell is Dylan Starr? You know what I mean, right? Yeah. So that's the difference, right? Is that being able that because, and I should say it like this: the most important thing you should really understand about establishing who, and you can use this in marketing or whatever, is the who is relative. And what I mean by that is, just like Dylan said right here, was all these people, all these leads are coming in are Grant Cardone fans, right? So in their mind, Grant Cardone's awesome. But if you have somebody who's not a Grant Cardone fan, then if you say Grant Cardone, it doesn't really matter, right? So that's what I mean by the who is relative, right?
I'd like to point out that today is episode 26 that you're tuning into this. So right now, you motherfuckers aren't excited about hearing Dylan Starr. But when you're listening to this 5 years from now, and we're on episode, I don't know, 500, 1,000, you assholes are going to know who I am, and you're going to be excited by hearing my name.
That's funny.
So who, I'll admit, right now, to this day, is not very relevant. But years from now, fuck you guys, it will be. So I want to throw that out there for Wally's jab. But it's going to be the same for Wally. You're going to be like,
no, that's the same for me too. No, people can jab at me.
100%. Wally's, they're going to be like, wait, you know Wally when? Are you talking about Wally the Robot? Fuck yeah, I'm talking about Wally the Robot. Oh, dude, I love Wally the Robot. He's awesome. Funnel expert, copywriting expert, builds messenger bots. You know him? Hell yeah, I know him. So that's what it's about, guys, is being able to leverage other people's success, leverage their names, kind of finding that common ground between people. And, and in closing, I'll put it this way. Let's keep it like very simple. Let's say you're getting into something and, you're brand new, whatever it is, and you want to sell something, you want to build something. I don't care what the business model is like. If you know somebody else that is doing the same thing, or maybe you're working with them, or you know them, or you're on their team, and let's say they're making $10,000 a month. Well, instead of you freaking out and being like, well, I'm brand new at this, I haven't made any money, all you have to do is talk about their fucking success. It's very simple. Oh, so-and-so just did XYZ and is making $10,000 a month. I'm on their team now. And then, now you just redirect to everything about them. I'll tell you, there was a couple out here in Jacksonville back when we were network marketing. The record, I believe, was beaten by Wally's client right now. She does, I believe, hold the record in the company. But before her, there was a couple that was in Jacksonville, and they joined the company, and they moved very fast. He was in construction. And when he was on the phone, the top income earner in the company was just like, hey, yeah, like, can you just leverage me and get me in front of 100 people? Just get me on the phone with 100 people. And then he's like, well, how do I know that this is legit and I can make a lot of money? And how do I know it's a good product? So the top income earner in the company listed him, was like, well, haven't you been taking the product? It's like, well, yeah. And then he said, well, how long have you been taking it? And he's like, well, I've been taking it for 7 years now. And he goes, okay. He's like, that is called a sustainable business. And he thought about it. He's like, oh shit, you know what? You're right. And then he asked him, he said, well, how do I make the money you're making? It's like, oh, we just do X, Y, Z. He goes, no. I don't think you understand. How much action do I have to take to make the type of money you're doing? And he said, well, you can either do it slowly or you can do it fast. But if you get me on the phone with 100 people, you can make a lot of money. So he said, okay, this guy went balls to the wall on his list, called tons of people, like over 100, literally talked about the top income earner's success, did not make it about him all the time. People, he even said, he didn't even know, Wally, this is what's so crazy about it. He didn't even know how the fuck he got paid. The dude was making, like in his first few months, over $20,000, had no idea about the compensation model, how it broke down, no idea about ranks, none of that shit. All he did was just leverage the top income earner's success and was talking, when people asked him, they were asking specific questions. He's like, I don't know. Literally, that's what he'd be like, I don't know. I know, but this is what this guy did. Look how much money this guy's making. This guy's making 7 figures a year. And this is what he did. This is the system. All you got to do is X, Y, Z. And every time, well, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm brand new. I just started. But look what this guy did. He just always revert back to him. And then guess what he did? He got him on the phone with the top incrementer of the company. He leveraged them. They very quickly became the fastest moving people in the company, broke records, hitting ranks. And all they did was just leverage other people's success. So if you're struggling right now, stop making it about you and just find clever ways that you can just leverage other people's success. And now I know we're not going to say who your client is, Wally, but I mean, you know her story. Did she kind of, I know she moved faster than that company did. Was she able to leverage her upline, and did she leverage other people's success when she got started as well? I'm assuming she had to move that quickly.
No. She just went ham, dude.
Yeah.
No, she just she just strictly stuck to inviting, right? But the only thing that she did different that is something that nobody else did is she was the first in this particular company to start incorporating the weekly Zooms.
Right. Yeah. Using technology.
Exactly. Yeah. That was what allowed her to grow so fast.
She was able to make the system better, right? Instead of just doing the old method that everyone else did before of just using the cell phone and following the old model. She was able to still, leverage other people's success, but she was able to use technology and social media and adapt it to, how it works in today's society. So she improved on it, made it better, and was able to move faster. So that is always a possibility, guys. So, in closing, definitely find creative ways to leverage other people's success. If you guys have questions, concerns, or anything like that, make sure that you are going onto Reddit. Wally, why don't you tell them the subreddit group?
It's going to be /r knowledge boner. So really in there right now, I've been posting a lot in the entrepreneur ride along. So what I do is I share the posts inside the knowledge boner subreddit while we're building up some people there. But yeah, feel free to post your questions or anything to us. To ask any question, and I will hop in and chat with you. And then if if we like your question or if it's something that we think is like super awesome, we'll bring it on the podcast and we'll chat about it.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah. And if you guys, if you're entrepreneurs and, maybe you've had some success with something like that and you want to be on the podcast and share your story, reach out to either one of us on Instagram. You can find Wally at Instagram.com/Wally_the robot. And you can find me at Dylan Starr Official. And definitely, like I said, check out our Facebook group on Facebook, Leads Closing Sales. Tune in. We're going to be doing some awesome teachings and trainings, really, really caterized to what we're talking about, more so on how to leverage other people's success to build your brand, build your business, create lead generation, which we're going to dive into later this week on the importance of getting emails, building a list, marketing and monetizing. So very excited to cover those topics now on the podcast. We're here episodes 26 deep, which we are 1/4 of the way towards our 100 goal. If you guys remember in the beginning of this season, we talked about wanting to hit 100 episodes. So we're still trucking along, attacking that goal, staying consistent for you guys, and doing everything we can to be able to serve you guys and give you guys as many knowledge boners as possible so you can have your aha moments. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. And we will see you guys tomorrow on the next episode.